Your ability to be calm and not laugh is really impressive.
I think it's the journalistic days, like back in the day. But there were certain interviews where I was like very tempted to laugh.
Cause didn't you? Well, did you do that? Was that for school, doing journalistic stuff?
Yeah, I studied it in college, and then it was around like 2016, just when it was politics, news was in kind of a weird state, and I kind of was like, I don't really want to be like a newspaper reporter or even a TV reporter.
Was that pre-college, after college? No, it was after.
It was kind of like right at the end of college, and I was like, I'm gonna do a journalism internship, and then I became an English teacher.
That's crazy.
Because I didn't know what else to do with.
Still in Florida when you're doing that.
Yes, and then I got the call from my buddy who lived in Seattle, and he was like, "Hey, there's a school out in Seattle if you want to teach here." And I didn't have any job prospects, so
that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And because that's when I got to know you, right? Because I remember you being like, "Oh yeah, it's Griffin."
Yeah.
He's a teacher at a school.
I know, it's crazy to think the last time I taught was like 5 years ago, but when everything went like online, it kind of just the joy for me, like just not being in the classroom. Like being on Zoom and like the kids' camera is off and you're like, you're not, I don't know if you're listening right now. Yeah.
Really quickly before we move any further, what was that like? Given like who you are, what God's put in your heart to teach children, because like you love to, I think you effortlessly try to like equip. Not try to, it's like just a part of who you are. You love to have conversations. You're obviously amazing at like, you're great with English, all that kind of stuff, but that clearly is not like I'm going to be the world's greatest English teacher.
Yeah. I think I wish I was who I am now back then, because I felt like I was 22 and some of my students were like 17. So I felt like I'm not that much wiser than you. And I also felt like I was a little bit of a pushover, like the easy teacher, so to speak, because I just cared about them a lot and I didn't even really care. Like not to say grades don't matter, but I kind of felt like at the time, like who they're becoming or who they are, like is way more important. And so, yeah, I think, I don't know. I just didn't have a lot of experience, but I did enjoy the equipping part. I think I've always enjoyed like explaining things, helping people get things. And even like in basketball, I always played point guard because I was like, I don't have the greatest shot, but like I would love to set somebody else who can shoot. And like genuinely enjoy seeing other people succeed. So I think that is why I liked it so much. But
I think that's a obvious thing about who you are, is like the point guard example is such a great example of like, you live a life of humility, and you could easily go the rest of your life never being known, I think. And you like, it's not, you don't work hard at trying to like set people up or like serve people. I think it's like just comes out of you naturally.
Totally.
To love on people.
Perhaps for another conversation, I feel like a lot of my journey has been doing things out of a truly selfless place. Like one of my favorite verses is the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. And I think when I was younger, I just saw a lot of validation in helping people. Almost like instead of knowing, hey, this is who I am, and out of that place, I'm just helping people or doing whatever Holy Spirit's asking me to do. It was way more like, hey, I'm going to help you, but I think subconsciously I expect that you're going to help me back.
That's a really big deal, and I think obviously a lot of people can relate with that. So what was the change? Because basically the summarization would be like you did it because either wanting to find your validation, loved, or whatever, it meant something. Like it was attached to who you were, your worth, versus now is like God got a hold of your life or growing maturity or whatever. Now it's like it's out of relationship and knowing him.
Yes, absolutely. I think before it was kind of an identity thing. Like you are a helper or you are a helpful person, instead of saying like, I help people because I'm a son, I'm an heir, all the things that Romans talks about. And that's not to say like there aren't certain moments where where it's like starts to bubble up again. But I just feel like I've grown in redirecting it or taking that thought captive and no, like I'm not obligated to do this right now. And I think that's been even a challenge or a discernment process. Is I think when I first became a Christian, I thought, well, Jesus was just available 24/7 all the time ever. It's like, yes, he's the most present person to ever walk the earth. He, healed people. He noticed the woman tugging on his robe. At the same time, like we've talked about, he also said, I'm just going to do whatever the Father's asking me to do. So he wasn't like a people pleaser of like, like even it says the crowds, they like sought him to perform a miracle. And he's like, no, I need to go be with my Father.
Wow.
Because he just spent the whole day healing people, and he would have kept going, but he was like, nope, my Father needs me right now.
Wow. That in and of itself is such a huge deal.
Yeah.
The freedom that's there, because like you have like I think I can relate to it, like wanting to help people, but I'm so thankful for the Holy Spirit, because like 1 John 2:27, he was talking about like the context before was like people deceiving you and a bunch of, I think it might have been the Antichrist, but just a lot of twisted people doing things that are not the best in 1 John. But like he in 2:27, he talks about you have the Spirit of truth. You don't need anyone else to teach you. He can teach you all things, or all things pertaining to the truth.
Yeah.
Having this like basically, he's the best. Holy Spirit's the best balance at like it's Galatians 5, like, or no, what was it? I forget. I was just reading. I can't think of the verse currently, but no, Galatians 5. Living a life yielded to the Holy Spirit.
Oh yeah.
And Romans talks about it, and I forget the translation, but one of the translations is like yielding to the impulses of the Holy Spirit. Like he knows the best answer for every single, like what the best route is.
Yeah.
Speaking to Jesus, being like, I could be here for the rest of my existence on the earth, nonstop healing people, or I could choose the better thing, which is to follow what God was leading him to do.
Right.
Because there's good things. This sounds really cheesy, but there's good things and there's God things.
Yeah.
Like I've spent my life doing a lot of good things.
Yeah.
They're not bad, but like learning to discern and not getting caught up in like, okay, am I making the right choice?
Yeah.
Not at all.
Right.
Or like, I get the privilege to learn how to yield myself to what he's calling me to.
Yeah.
And not have, key being learning. This right here, best thing in the world, Holy Spirit breathing on, and then him putting truth inside of us. We're finding out who we are, like this beautiful thing of identity, being transformed, and then from that place, being okay. When is a good time to like love on this person? When is the time God's asking me to do whatever, and not having to get caught up in the endless right or wrong decisions.
Yeah.
It's such a big deal.
Yeah.
But anyways, that made me think about that. That's such a profound reality, and can be really, I think, crippling or challenging.
Yeah.
I know for me it was.
Yeah, I think still sometimes like I can get caught up in what is the right thing to do.
Dude.
And I want to walk in obedience and live in obedience, but also have the mind of Christ, have the Holy Spirit, the helper. And so I think a lot of it has been learning to be sensitive to those moments of, oh man, maybe Holy Spirit is just wanting me to stay in that moment, kind of like you were talking about with reading just the one verse or the one word, or the church service that you were at where the pastor was like, something's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going, but I'm also not going to miss this moment where I think a lot of times it's easy to just breeze by, or even how it talks about, I forget, maybe it was with Moses where it says like God was like about to pass by, and like he gets hit in the rock, or even like when Jesus comes to walk on water and they think it's a ghost, it says that he was about to pass by them, which is, side note, is such a like funny, interesting part of that story where it's like, wait, was he just about to like keep going if they didn't notice him? So
that's so crazy. I forget what you were saying earlier, but it made me think about this. And I was reading this earlier. Was it the fact that we've been predestined? It ties into, because like Jesus was predestined before the foundation of the universe, that we've been predestined to be conformed to his image. He was the one, like he was the firstborn among men, to show us this is what it looks like to follow him. Right. Which is, it's that through line of like, you can do a lot of good things, or you can do what he's leading you to do by way of knowing him. Yeah. Every single day, knowing the truth and trusting his ability to lead us. And it touches every area of life. And I think going on, I'll read it really quick because it's just so good. For whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moving on a little further, it says, moreover, whom he predestined, those he also called. Whom he called, those he also justified, which is to be like completely clean, set apart. And whom he justified, these he also glorified, which is a pretty crazy thing. I'd love to dig into that someday, to be glorified. It's pretty nuts to think about. But I I was reading this and I was like, I've done nothing. There's nothing in here that's like, and Dominic did enough.
Yeah.
It's like, before you existed, he predestined you for the purpose of looking just like Jesus. He's going to empower you through the agency of Holy Spirit and invite you into all of him.
Right.
To live his life through you, and then still haven't done anything besides saying yes. He called you, he justified you, and he's glorified you.
Yeah.
That we could know him.
Yeah.
I think if people just actually started to believe what the Bible said, it would change lives like crazy. But like not mentally just believe it, like come to him and like just let him work this in your life. And start to believe, like just like, you know, when maybe someone's had like maybe in parenting, like, or kids, like a father-son relationship is strained. But if you actually have a dad that starts to, like, say it changes, dad starts to love on him, and the son actually starts to believe, accept and believe this is a reality.
Yeah,
not just like
son almost.
Yeah, exactly, like that same thing. Yeah, a great example.
Yeah,
like, I don't know, prodigal son.
Yeah, it's just some story in the Bible.
But like the profound truth of what that actually starts to hit your heart, and you realize. I think that's the best way I can describe it, because I spent a lot of my life doing things, I guess. They're kind of like, you know, I guess I'm a Christian, so I should do this. But it changed when he started to like make it the reality of my life. Instead of a bunch of good ideas on the page.
Absolutely.
I want to go back just a minute ago to what you're saying. I'm curious, because I think it'd be so worth chatting. So, or diving into just for a minute. So what was the practical steps where you, we're talking about Jesus, not just like, he could heal people all day long and go and being with the Father, but you have had many times in your life where it's like, okay, I really feel like I should do X thing and follow him through this, even though it may be not convenient or whatever. But what did it look like for you to just say yes to any specific examples of saying following Jesus in a moment, like giving people, like stopping? And there's a lot of stories. I don't want to spoil anything specific.
It's funny we were about to say grocery store, because I immediately thought of that, of some of the times I've been at the store and I feel led, like I feel I'm supposed to pray for this person, and like initially would do the little walkabout where it's like I go down the next aisle and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And then finally just do it. And even just as an encouragement, I feel like 9.9 times out of 10, even if people don't believe the same thing, they're usually just grateful that you notice them, because we live in a world where it's like people are just often unnoticed. So even if they just take it as an encouragement, awesome. But I think that's one way. I think another way has been, even in conversation or with friends, just almost like I'm like praying in real time, being like, Holy Spirit, do you want me to say this? And just to clarify, it's not like, I don't see it as, oh, he's micromanaging me and like ordering me around on what to do. And I think that was even a voice that I had to get rid of, maybe from childhood or the past, of like, oh, God's my manager and he's just like, and
it could be,
and it could be interesting to even tie into like predestination. What does that mean as far as my involvement and my participation in it? Even if you wanted to dive into that right now, like,
I mean, I've obviously that's a giant topic, and I pretend like, well, I have the answer. But I was thinking about it, and I feel, to me, my simple mind, what makes the most sense to me, or what seems most like realistic, is like we're taking your kids. Your kids don't have a choice to come. Didn't have a choice to come here. Like it's been predestined. You're coming, but they could have a choice to partner with you, and they can choose to be like, hey, I want you to come with me, and you're going to bless them. It's not like you're going to come here and just do all these horrible things, or having, here for this event. And like they can choose to come say yes to that. Like obviously when you get older, it's different, like as adults. So like the idea of like God, like, hey man, this is what I've designed for you. Like this is the better thing. Like you can choose to sit there and like throw a fit as long as you like, but eventually like I'm way too good just to let you sit there. And so, I mean, I wouldn't take that as, that's just an opinion, but it sure seems like a life. We talked about this the other day. Like life is like a giant map on a game where like you're gonna start here and end here eventually, and there's God's sovereignty. But it sure seems like a lot of times like, hey, well, like there's multiple ways you can play that game. There's your way, which might be probably lots of struggles. No, it might be guaranteed. It will be a lot of brutal things. And even in following him, I think it will still be brutal. But there's something about, like, he knows the best path. He knows how to love us the best. So I think for me, okay, well, you've predestined, if you will, my life. You had to. You saw the beginning from the end. You decided I'm a part of that. So I'd rather just say yes to what you're leading me to, because also he's a good dad, and I'm a dad that's learning, and I always want to give my kids options. I don't want to be like, you're just going to do this. Like there's a time and place where it's like, hey, that's not an option. We need to do this. But like, I love more than anything to just be like, well, what's on your heart?
Yes.
Like we're going here. I want to let you partner with me in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like my son does this. Like he's like, Dad, can I, can I do this thing with you? Can I help you load the car? Like, yeah, absolutely. I think when you realize, when this thing starts to get changed, you realize how much he loves you and that you can't change his affection towards you. Yes. That he loved you so much, he predestined you before so you could be called justified and glorified. Yes. That changes everything. Then I guess for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I predestined? All that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know. He just loves me. Yes. And every time I hear any ounce of him in any direction, I'm like, I just want to run to that because I've learned it's the best thing in the world. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I find it reassuring where it's like, you're too good and you love me too much to just discard me or forget about me. Like you knew me before the world began, or I was on your mind before the world began, or when Jesus hung on the cross, like he was thinking of you. Like he wasn't just like, oh, like maybe some hypothetical Dominic. It was like he genuinely knew you, which is a wild and profound and cool thing. And yeah, I think the parenting example is super good because it's like, we love our kids. We want to empower them to walk, like Ephesians 2:10 says, like walk in the things that they've been prepared for, or that have been prepared for them in advance. Yeah. And we're not going to hold their hand every single step of the way, but we're also not going to let them dive off the deep end without floaties if they don't know how to swim. Yeah. So,
and that's such a great example of like, because God he's not here in person. They can't physically touch him. It can feel like people can, without knowing, they can feel like he's restricting you, but you're diving off the deep end and you're going to kill yourself. Yeah. And like how many times my kids have been so mad because they think I'm ruining everything, but I'm saving them. Yes. Over and over and over again, from cutting themselves, from burning themselves or whatever. And the reality of like, one, God doesn't care. You can't. He's perfect. He's not gonna get offended at you or mad that you think he's whatever. But the perspective shift of wait a minute. You only do everything for my good. Like, but the thing that I know, I've noticed, and I'm gonna probably say this for the rest of my life, is I cannot change someone's mind. I can point to the water. I can bring people to the water of who he is, but I cannot make them drink it. Right. And the realization, because it feels like sometimes. Like just chasms apart from like getting someone to make the jump, if you will, of like, wait a minute, you don't understand. He's not just a book, not some thing in your brain. He is your father, and he wants you to know him. Romans 6, no, Matthew 6 or 7. I think it's 7. I don't know. Where he talks about like Jesus saying, make the tree good and it'll produce good fruit. And I've realized like that's the point. Yeah. Like you get inside of me, clean the inside of this cup, or make good fruit, and everywhere I go, I can just be in love with you, just like a really healthy father-son relationship, or like the kids just like, I don't know, I don't have to ask questions. I just know my mom and dad love me, and I'm just gonna do whatever. Like I want to be with them. Yes, that is so amazing, and I think it's so that, but in our relationship with him, as he continues to love us and practically take care of us, but more importantly, make the inside clean. Then you get undone. And I think that's we all were designed to know him, period. Yes. He didn't design something to be like, oh, whatever, who cares about God? Like everyone's searching or crying out. Yeah. I think when someone's actually in love with him, because he loved them and they got it per se, then it's game over. Right. And I think people, and even if it causes people to be offended or hurt or whatever, convicted, it doesn't matter. It's still because there's a deep longing. Yes. And nothing fulfills. Nothing satisfies. And it's cliches until it becomes reality in your life. Like he's it, man. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like the simplicity of I just get to love him and let him flow through my life and be okay with, like I was gonna say, I've had lots of opportunities to be like, okay, like there was a few times where I was like, God, early on, when he started changing my life, it's like, hey, I felt like he's like, I'm gonna start showing you tons of people that need to be healed, and I want, like, I'm not saying it's not like they're gonna be healed or not healed. I just want you to step out in obedience. Yeah. And I was at a store, and it was during COVID. Oh boy, this will just be even better. Yeah, in Seattle. And of course, like for probably 3 or 4 months, it was just everywhere I went, like people just had all these issues, like really blaringly obvious. One guy, his other leg was like,
I remember this.
Yeah, way too short.
QFC.
Yeah. And it's like at the very beginning, and I was like, I want to do this, but it was COVID, and you trying to figure out the mask thing, and everyone's just really on edge. Yeah. And I did the classic. Okay, I'm going to talk to him, and like, nope. And then came back one more time, and he was gone, and never caught him. But like, it was so cool to like see him be like, hey, you want to follow me? Like, here, I want to give you examples all day long, and like in that, not being condemned, not being like, man, you're such a screw. Like, how dare you? Like, you should have said yes.
Right.
Because then there's lots of other opportunities that did get to sow in people's lives, and to see their bodies change, and to see them get healed.
Yes.
Or to them get really offended at you or whatever. But the realization, my life's not my own. That's the other thing. We've been sold the biggest lie in the world, that life is about you. It has nothing to do with you. But not like to become a wet blanket, to become all the stuff that we are sold, which is self, to die to that self and let the righteousness produce holiness in our lives. And then he can produce the fruit he wants in us.
Yeah.
So that every decision we make can be riddled with him.
Right.
And he can lead us into all truth.
Yeah.
In every conversation or whatever we do.
Absolutely.
And I think also for me is realizing that probably means there might be some really uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
Because people don't like, because I've unintentionally went boop and touched some stuff in people's lives.
Yeah.
I was just had a conversation with someone just last night, and they're like, hey man, I hadn't seen him in a while. Like, hey man, how's it going? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You have kids? We started talking about parenting. Like, how do you parent? I was like, let me tell you, man.
Yeah.
And so I just laid on him like, it's without the Holy Spirit, I can do nothing. I can't parent. Are you kidding me?